What's really good? LeSBP Trading, Familia, Buenos Dias, Bonjour, Bon dia, Sabona, Good Namen, Konbanwa, Masaka, Aftaf. Thank you all for tuning in. So, redoing this video for like the fourth time because we can actually see our profit in the, how do I not know what it's called? Take Profit Trader account. We're currently doing a challenge. So, if you don't know, we're doing a challenge. We're trying to get to $3,000. That's how you beat the challenge. And then you go on from there. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the trades that we took today. I'm going to be relatively quick with this, so make sure you put the video on ×2. Make sure you watch it all the way through. And if you got any questions, please let me know. I'm more than willing to answer constructive questions and take constructive criticisms. All right, so let's go ahead, jump right into it. I'm going to make sure I'm logged into everything. And then boom, we are off. So first things first is the news from the day. I won't explain every little bit like I was going to because we have a lot of stuff that's going on in the chart. So I want to get to that as quickly as possible so that we're not taking 20 minutes for the video. So we have ADP non-farm employment change and then ISM services PMI. That was at 10 o'clock. ADP was at 8:15. Today is June 4th. Today we took, let's go back to yesterday. No, you're not going to refresh for me. Let's just say this week then. How about that? So today, which was the 4th, we end up taking, I think we take 8 trades? We took a lot of trades. Yeah, we took 8 trades because we had 3 wins, 3 losses, and 2 break evens. So we ended up with $847.50 with the commission and stuff like that taken out. We ended up with $823.50. So $1,072.50 in profit, 225 in losses. Don't need that. Don't say 2,000. All right, those are the trades right there. I'm going to go over them in the chart. So I don't want to do it now in full because I feel like it's going to take too long. So we'll skip forward. Looking at the Take Profit Trader Control Center, or like I call it, the dashboard, we now have 1 day traded out of 5. We have reached $825 out of 3,000. And then our biggest day cannot be more than 50% of our total profit, which it is not. So we're doing good. Out of the rules, don't trade more than 6 contracts at any time. I tested that, and right now we are doing really well. I'm trading 6 contracts per trade, but I'm not adding anything more than that. Don't allow your account balance now to go below $48,823.50. That has updated because, of course, the increase. And then only trade permitted products during the permitted period. And then don't hold any open positions past 1,700. As you can see, green check marks, that means we are still passing those. When you look at the account balance, you'll see from our starting balance, which is 50K, and then our ending balance out of today, which is our first trading day, 50,823. You'll see that the minimum account balance has also followed that and gone up. And then once again, only 1 day of trading so far, which we have in the books. All right, moving on to the actual chart. Here we have the trades that we have taken. I'm going to try not to go too far in depth in these trades, but y'all let me know if y'all got any questions. I'm really just going to go over kind of like my notes, and then I'll just kind of walk you through the trades. So first things first, I was looking at the high and the low of yesterday, and I'll move this back just so I can repeat what I was kind of saying in the last video. So I was looking at the high and low of the day basically for yesterday. And as you can see, we had a really big range to fill if we were going to fill that range. High and low range of the day is not something that I use to actually trade. It's more or less like a mental comfort type of thing. I don't use it as a confluence. It's just me putting it down so that I can kind of see where that range was of the day. Now, looking back into the actual trades that we took, as you can see, it went slightly past the high of yesterday, which was Tuesday. And then the ISM services PMI, was it services? ISM services PMI news came in and broke that down just a little bit. We got into our first trade here after the 10:03 candle. Boom, easy peasy, little 10 pips. And as you can see, it did really well because we got the 10 pips, got out, and then boom, it went straight back up. Now, I was very weary of this high low of the day. I also had a support resistance here. I kind of wish I would have saved them, but I didn't because I had already made what I needed to make in the previous take of this video, but it's okay. I had a support resistance right here, and I was slightly weary because one, that support resistance was right next to that high low of the day, and then of course you had all these wicks. So I was like, is this going to be a decent trade? So we were really aggressive with this trade. We actually didn't take a loss. This was the second trade, which was Why is this not in order? It seems like it's not in order. This was actually a break-even trade. So this trade was taken at 1040. 1040, that was this trade right here at 1040, and that's $0. So we took that 1039, we got out at 1058. I don't know why that's not in order. I feel like that should be in order. And you can't even move it. But either way, that's when this trade was taken. That is a break-even trade. But I like to see, or I should say, I didn't have it this way initially. Initially, I had it like this, which was just barely saying it's break even. And I really should have had it saying that we lost. The reason for that is because if you know anything about my strategy or the tweaks that I've made to the strategy, what I'm trying to do now is we make up for the loss on the next trade that we get into. So what I'm supposed to be doing is taking that 4 pips that we lost and end up going into the next trade and going for 14 pips instead of the original 10. So my TP is always usually going to be 10 pips unless we lose the previous trade. So like I said, I was really aggressive with this trade. So I ended up moving my stop loss from up here. Then I moved it when this candle wicked and it came back down to that support resistance area. I moved it down here. And then finally, when it came back up, this little candle right here, I said, you know what? I'm not messing with this, and moved it to break even. We broke even right here, and it went on to be what would have been a losing trade. Now, still hovering around that high of yesterday, got into this trade. For some odd reason, usually when I lose a trade like this, and then it comes right back again to be another trade in that sense, and this kind of the same opportunity in the same area, usually that one wins. So I was less aggressive with this trade, and plus I was looking for the 10 pips because I kind of forgot about doing the whole 14 pip thing, only because I moved it to break even, so we didn't technically lose anything. So I kind of missed out on some pips here, but in totality in the whole day, we got like 27 pips out of 30. So I'm not really mad at it. It's 3 pips, but it's all good. So I just know I need to follow my strategy. So either way, got into this trade. I got aggressive a little bit after this candle. I moved my original stop loss from 4.5 down to the top of this candle right here. So I think that was only like, you know what, I'm not even gonna think. So 1.5. And then after that, it never came back up to hit that stop loss because we would have definitely lost something. And as you can see, it trickled back down and gave us the 10 pips. We actually went for 10. We didn't go for the 14. I just marked the 14 because I know that's what we should have went for. So getting back to that high of yesterday, it was just hovering and hovering and hovering. Price just did not want to leave it. But as you can see, we ended up taking 3 trades, which ended up being our 3 losers of today. This trade we actually messed up on because we got in preemptively. I got in right here at the bottom of this candle. I was really supposed to get in at the top of this candle. But to be honest, I really didn't like all the little wicks and dojis or hammer or whatever you want to call them. Basically the ones that look like they're not really a candle. It's just like a little line in the middle of it. So we got into this trade though because I was following the strategy. Lost a little bit more than I wanted to. I think we ended up losing 2 pips instead of 0.75, which was what we were supposed to lose. Got into this trade, lost 2.5. I believe we got into this trade correctly, and we also got into this trade correctly at where we were supposed to be at. So we ended up losing 2.5 here and 3.25 here and 2 pips here when we were supposed to lose 0.75. Now, those 3 trades I was quite interested in because once again, like I said, usually on that second time, sometimes maybe the third time, it usually goes my way. I don't know why. That's just how it works. I back tested it, forward tested it, live tested it. Usually that's how it works. But we took 3 L's in the same spot here. But once again, it came back to the same exact area where we took those 3 previous trades. So my idea, once again, using my confluences, I got back into that trade like I was supposed to. We were in a little bit lower than I wanted to. I was supposed to get in at the top of this candle. Spread, honestly, got me in at the bottom of the candle. But it was on like 0.25 or something like that. And I slightly messed up on the calculation for this trade right here. So I ended up adding all of these losing trades up. And for whatever reason, I think it was because I had taken a bigger loss than I was supposed to on this one. I ended up getting 17 pips. I was really supposed to be going for 16.5. So if you add 3.25, 2.5, and 0.75, you'll get 6.5. So all I was supposed to do was add 10 to 6.5, which is 16.5. And yeah, I kind of fucked that up. Don't know how, but I ended up with 17 pips for a TP. As you can see, once we got into that trade, it did come up a little bit, put us in the drawdown. Probably about 10 or 15 minutes passed by basically while we're in this trade. And then once we got to this point, I was like, all right, should I be a little aggressive or not? I did. So I moved my stop loss down to right about here. Once these candles kind of push down into this general same area, then once it came down to this point, I moved my stop loss down a little bit more, moved it down to about right here. And then once it was at the 10 pip point, which I think was like right around this area or maybe right in this area, I was like, all right, cool. We're gonna move our stops to break even, move my stop loss to break even. And we actually missed our TP, which was 16.5 because I put 17. So as you can see, it never hit that 17 pip TP. So I kind of had to get out of this trade as it was coming back up. We got out right here. That is actually wrong. It's supposed to be 42.5 or 457.5, and that is this trade right here. So we ended up getting 457.5. We missed it by, I think we missed the trade by about, I want to say 30. We missed $37 out of this trade. So I wasn't really mad at it. If I would have got the 16.5, I think we missed $37. Wasn't mad at it. That was the end of the day. We came away with the 823. I was happy about that. It did go back down to that point right before the close of the market right here on this candle to that 17 pips. But to be honest, I wasn't trying to hold it that long because we already got, pretty much what I felt like we needed. Plus, we got our losses back. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to trip over it. So we ended up getting out of that trade. I was happy with it, and I was happy with the day. Overall, let me read these. So I said today was interesting, but day, but I feel so much better going for a smaller TP, which is 10 pips. Much smaller range by the end of the day. At 1404, I said I was holding on at high of my day at $600. That was after this trade and this trade because this trade was a break even originally, and should have been satisfied with that, even though we got another opportunity. To be honest, we're hanging around the high of yesterday, and I don't like it. I said I dodged one loss, but that's not according to my strategy, so we need to be careful because it made me miss 4 pips on a trade on the next trade because I messed up the in following my strategy. And then I said close my buy limit because of the simple fact that for some odd reason I kept forgetting to close my limit and my stop orders. But either way, the day went really, really well. It wasn't smooth. I'm not gonna lie. It was not smooth by any means. But as you can see, we did pretty well. Way better than I thought we were gonna do, especially after we had made the $600 and then come, back to back to back losses. I was like, well, fuck, because we actually got down to like 367. I think it was a 347 or something like that after these 3 losses. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you add it up, I guess that's how much it was. It was somewhere around 280 or something like that. So yeah, it was a great day. I'm not gonna hold y'all. Just wanted to kind of redo that only because we actually can see, the profits and stuff like that here in the Take Profit Trader Control Center, and we can actually see that profit here in Tradeovate. We already could have seen it in the last video, but you couldn't see this, so I just wanted to re-record it for that real quick. Other than that, that's all I got. I'm gonna let y'all go. Thanks. Watch it on ×2 once again. If you want to catch me on stream, you can catch me at roughly about anywhere between 9:20 to 9:45. So within that 20-minute window, 25-minute window, I'm usually jumping on to stream. I think I'm going to try to do every day. I don't want to make any promises, but for right now, I'm probably going to try to do every day just so I can go ahead and focus on the challenge and show you all as we go. That stream is only about an hour long. I'm not trying to hold on it for the duration of the day because if you caught the stream, you'll know that literally after my very first trade, we got out of here. So everybody who watched the stream could see me make $300, and then after that, it was just all me. So appreciate y'all. Thanks. Hopefully have a good day. All right, y'all. Peace.